Hey guys! So last Saturday, I released the first episode of the Ben 10 podcast. However, I don't think doing the Ben 10 podcast by itself is enough. I want to do a Generator Rex podcast too. So I got my buddy Jeremy Chambers to record a few episodes. Say hi, Jeremy.
Hey guys, it's David Stevens here. I'm here with Levi. And today we're going to be recording a few episodes of Generator Rex. And
The Generator Rex podcast.
yes.
Alright, so yeah, we're both Generator Rex fans. We love the kid who turns his arms into giant nunchucks and beats up all the mutant bad guys.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, what my plan is, we're going to record multiple episodes today of the Generator Rex podcast, and basically every 2 weeks there will be a Ben 10 podcast, and in between the Ben 10 podcast there will be a Generator Rex podcast.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll probably record like 3 of them over this weekend. And yeah, it'll be a whole lot of fun. We're going to watch a whole lot of Generator Rex.
Yep.
And then even whenever Jeremy's gone, I'll probably continue to record more of it myself because I need to rewatch Generator Rex.
Yep.
It's a good show. So yeah, first, since this might attract new viewers, let's talk about our YouTube channels. So this is the Levi Church YouTube channel. Here I do all kinds of Ben 10 content. My main series being the Ben 10 Guide, where I dig into like the Ben 10 lore and all that. Talk about all kinds of different Ben 10 canon and all that. And I do all other stuff too. Like, I've done a review of Ben 10 Alien Force. I've reviewed an episode of it too separately, and I've even talked about a Ben 10 fan comic multiple times on this YouTube channel. And yeah, so that's what I do. What do you do, Jeremy?
Well, I haven't been doing that much.
Yeah, his YouTube channel has been doing a whole lot of hiatusing lately.
Well,
and re-uploading the videos he did on my channel.
True. Was I'm there working on my own character. Street character.
Basically, he does Godzilla content, and he will do some more Godzilla content in the future, and maybe Teen Titans stuff as well.
Yeah. Right now I'm basically making my own MLP OC character, and it's
Yeah, he likes My Little Pony too. I've never seen it, but he likes it.
it's a good show. You should watch it. It's amazing. It's Discord in it. One of the funniest characters from the show.
Alright, okay. Why don't you do some MLP videos and try to convince me with those videos to watch the show?
Okay, I will.
Alright, fine. Argument over. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Generator Rex. Woo!
The kid that can turn into a giant machine gun, apparently.
Alright, so yeah, let's watch the episodes now. Hooray! Goodbye! And we are back. We just watched the first episode of Generator Rex. I'm so bad at saying generator. Alright, Jeremy. What did you think of the episode first?
I thought it was great. It's been a very long time since I saw this episode, and it still holds up pretty good to today's standards
Yeah.
of animation.
Yeah. Generator Rex came out in 2010. It's 8 years old now. Can you believe it?
Wow.
8 years old. Anyway, so yeah, I agree. Like, the animation of the show is great. It's one of the best parts of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, looking back on it, like, it is kind of weird how they made the nanites. Yeah, there's still little CG everywhere else in the show. Just the nanites are always CG for some reason, and yeah it looks like that could be improved if Generator Rex was made today. I honestly do wonder if, like, Generator Rex did have another crossover with Ben 10 and Ben 10 Omniverse, would they, like, make the nanites CG in the Omniverse art style?
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just a shame that Rex never showed up in the Omniverse.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about the story and all that jazz. So the story of the show is a huge Big Bang happened 5 years ago, and now everybody on Earth has living machines in them called nanites, and randomly they decide, okay, you're going to turn into a big monster guy now. Bam, you're a big monster guy. And then comes in Rex, who's got nanites too, and he has the power to cure mutants that are inflicted by the nanites. They're called Evos. Anyway, so yeah, Rex cures the big monster at the beginning of the episode, and then he goes out and gets a friend, and he's also being protected by a government organization called Providence. And yeah, he eventually just runs away from home, and then he goes, finds a friend, and then they get ambushed by a pack of Evos, which they're literally called the Pack, by the way. That's the name of the group, the Pack.
Yeah, that's kind of the lucky thing about the name.
Yeah,
Really?
I unintentionally called them a pack of Evos, and then I remembered, oh yeah, they're called the Pack. Anyway.
Seriously, like, why would they call the organization the Pack? It's
it's not a large group. It's just a pack of Evos.
I know, but they could have
It's just the 5 Evo set you can buy at Walmart.
And the Voltron set.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so yeah, they take Rex to this place. I'm not sure if they named the location of the episode, but I think it's called Abyssus. And
Yeah.
like, then there's this one guy who's the leader of the pack, Van Kleiss, who's in control of this whole place, because all of the soil and all the trees and everything there is made out of nanites. So he just controls everything around there.
Mm-hmm.
He just controls it all. So,
Yeah.
And then he also has the power to eat other Evos as nanites, which he tries to do to Rex. But then he says, oh, I wanted only a small taste of your nanites. I have far bigger plans for you.
Yeah.
Van Kleiss is a creepy dude, but he's a really great villain.
Yeah, almost like a slide. Almost.
Whenever I think of cartoon villains, from now on, I think of this one stupid video made by Phantom Snyder. I can't even remember what his channel's called.
Strider.
Yes, Strider, I think it was. And like, the day I unsubscribed from him was like the day when he released this video, the top 5 darkest cartoon villains. And like, oh my god, you're so wrong.
True.
Van Cleis. I'm not sure if he would be in the top 5, but I would put him at least in the top 20 darkest cartoon villains. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, there's so many he could have put on that list, and just, oh my god, why did you put Dr. Robotnik from Sonic Sat AM on there? That was the stupidest thing ever. I do not get the appeal of that version of Dr. Eggman. I just don't get it.
Me neither.
I guess I have to be a 90s kid in order to get it.
Yeah. I mean, I was sort of a 90s kid, and
Very late 90s kid, you were.
yeah. But seriously, Dr. Robotnik, he's the goofiest villain
Oh.
I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, now I'm thinking of this news that came out recently for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'll tell you about that after we're recording, but for now we're talking about Rex. We're talking about a good show,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a bad show.
not the live action Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyway, Generator X, oh, it's so good. Watch the show, guys. It's so deep and everything.
It's really awesome.
Like, the first episode just... I don't think it's as good as the first episode of Ben 10, but it is a pretty good beginning to the episode, and it honestly gets better after you've seen the whole show. This show has a ton of rewatch value.
Yeah.
So yeah, after when you've seen the whole show, you know the whole story, and you go back to this first episode, you now notice like all the little things, and oh my gosh, it's good. This show's got a whole bunch of rewatch value.
Yes, it does.
It's great. Watch Generator X, guys. It needs to be watched by more people.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Anyway, let's talk about the first episode specifically. It's like the beginning of the episode starts out with, basic fight in the show. Like, this is the basic formula. Like, that's the very basic formula. Obviously, there's so much deeper story and stuff, but, like, in terms of, for, like, the first 2 seasons, at least, this is basically how the show's structured. Somebody turns into a big Evo, and then Rex goes and cures it. The next episode is about one dude who can turn everybody into zombies. Like, that's the very basic structure of the show. There's obviously a lot more plot to it. It's not like the first episode, or the first season of Code Lyoko, where literally every episode is filler. No, it's not like that. There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if this show was structured by Code Lyoko, that would basically just be the formula.
Yeah. It would kind of throw it off a little bit.
Yeah, the show, it's just got some really good pacing. It could not be... I can't really imagine the show being more than 3 seasons, really. Like, I can imagine, of course, Generator X showing up in Ben 10 Omniverse afterwards, but this show has a very conclusive ending.
True.
I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, after it ends, like, there really isn't very much room left for more storytelling. It's just like having Rex show up in an episode of Ben 10 Omniverse. That would have been great, but no. For some reason, they didn't do that again, even though they teased and foreshadowed a sequel to the Ben 10 Generator X crossover.
True.
Anyway, this first episode again, like, there's a lot of deeper stuff going on, but in order for me to talk about a lot of the moments in this first episode in depth, I would have to spoil the later episodes of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I haven't.
No. Anyway, any final words you want to say before we start watching the next episode?
Not really, no.
Alright. And so yeah, we're going to watch episode 2 right now. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, we're back from watching episode 2 of Generator X. And first off, I want to say there is a lot more substance to this episode than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first episode's okay, but it just doesn't really have a whole lot of the substance that the rest of the show has going forward.
True.
Like, they build up the whole mystery with the Antichrist in the first episode, and they, of course, blind the whole world and build up the friendship between Rex and Noah, and it just doesn't really have a whole lot of time to really, you know, make the story, like, you know what I mean, put a whole lot of substance into the first episode. It's just building up. The first episode just kind of builds up the rest of the show. There's not a whole lot of substance within it. It needed to be a 2-part episode to really, feel like a big story, the big beginning the show should have probably had. But yeah, this episode though, episode 2, which is apparently called String Theory.
Of all things.
Yeah, this episode has a lot more substance within it. It's got a whole lot of moral questions. It, of course, has, like, it goes a little bit deeper into the characters, psychology and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it just has so many good action scenes as well. I didn't really talk a whole lot about the action in the first, when we were talking about the first episode. That's really just because, I'm not just trying to get a kid audience here. Like, this is a kid's show, so obviously they're going to advertise the action most of all, more than, like, the deep story stuff. So I tried not to talk about the action a whole lot, because I feel like whenever a lot of people who didn't really watch Jerry and Rex all the way through, they just think about it as, like, a big action show with a lot of action. Action. The action in this show is fantastic. It's fun to watch. But there's way more to it than just action.
Yeah.
But yeah, the action still is really good.
True.
This episode just, makes sure you know that Agent 6 is also really awesome. Not just Rex. Agent 6 is also really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I want to talk about Agent 6 some more, but... Yep, throughout the beginning of the show, they basically just focus on, the government worker side of Fit 6, and then as the show moves forward, it goes a lot more into his backstory, and goes a lot deeper into his character. But yeah, whenever the show starts, though, he's just the straight-faced government worker that has to babysit a teenager. But yeah, 6 just becomes a much deeper character as the show goes on. But anyway, back to Rex. So yeah, this episode definitely shows how, Rex isn't just a rebellious teenager who just does this for fun. No, he genuinely wants to help everybody. The beginning of the episode shows this perfectly. Rex is saving Kid's father, and 6 was about to kill him, and killed the father, who was an Evo at the time, and then Rex thankfully managed to cure him right in the brief seconds between sword slash through the head, and
Yeah.
he barely saved that guy at the beginning of the episode. And yeah, so, Jeremy, you say something.
Okay, I have to agree with you on Rex's development in this episode.
Yeah, the first episode just kind of showed you, a brief list of things that Rex does all the time in the show. And, it doesn't really go very deep into his character at all. This episode goes way deeper already into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, I do thinking about it right now, the first episode should have been a 2-parter. It should have been multiple parts.
True.
It's fine. It's not bad, but the show just gets so much deeper as it goes on.
True.
Very quickly as well. Anyway, so yeah, with this whole episode, the moral argument is should like a few people? Should you break a few eggs to save a few dozen more? You know,
Yeah.
like Avengers: Infinity War also brought this up a whole lot. Like, does one person like how many people has to go in order to save the rest? Like with Thanos, his whole goal was to eradicate half of the universe in order for the other half to prosper and live on. And the Avengers also have to sacrifice their own in order to stop Thanos because Thanos' plan is crazy. And so yeah, they're both both the Avengers and Thanos are doing the same thing in order to save more lives by sacrificing their own. You know?
True.
Yeah. Avengers Infinity War was a good movie, guys.
Yeah.
I hope you all saw it before I said all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about the Evo of this episode, Peter Meacham. So his whole power was like he puts all of anybody who touches him. Basically, he's got the super deadly touch that turns anybody he touches into his minions. He gains full control over them.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one guy at the beginning of this episode who like had no control over his muscles, but he was still, freaked out and screaming like, "What's going on? Oh my gosh!" And then sadly for the rest of this episode, we'd never see anybody else, try like screaming horror or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not even whenever Bobo gets affected, he never even talks. He just, And he had a big smile on his face, too, whenever he was doing bad guy stuff.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. Was he happy that he was finally kicking the other guys' butts?
Probably.
Whatever. That guy owed me $5 anyway. He deserves this. Yeah. Yeah, Bobo is a great character we didn't talk about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about Bobo. Dr. Holiday, too, but she didn't really do a whole lot in the first episode. Anyway, so yeah, Bobo is just, the comedy relief sidekick monkey.
Yeah.
He does get a whole lot of stories as the show goes on, but he never really becomes that much of a deep character. Like, most of the episodes that focus on him are just kind of joke episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, he's okay. He's a fun character. Just, he's just a monkey, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not the deepest character in the show.
I mean, it's not like Beast Boy, like that.
Yeah, Beast Boy had a whole lot of depth to him as Teen Titans went on, but Bobo, I don't know. He is a character that didn't really change a whole lot, honestly. He did not really grow all that much, unlike the rest of the characters, especially Agent 6.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, Peter Meacham, back to him. So, yeah. Aside from being Evo, he also, he also still is a little human inside, too. He's just as really messed up in the head at the same time. His Evo form is really just a giant walking brain.
Yeah.
But inside of his mouth, inside of him is his human form, and he still has a little bit conscience. And apparently he also is working for Van Cleise, but the show didn't really go into that a whole lot.
No, not really.
His main goal, though, was to find his daughter, Sarah, and working with Van Cleise was the only way, I guess, doing what Van Cleise wanted. It's the only way to get back Sarah. Oh no. So yeah, Rex sets everything up so he like whenever Rex tries to cure Peter Meacham, he actually fails. His nanites are just kind of resisting his to cure him. But at the very end, instead of punching him a whole lot more to get him to stop doing what he was doing, he talked to him as a human being, not as a monster. He talked to him as a person. And so he talked them into letting Rex cure him, and then he got Sarah back for him.
True.
He talked to him human to human. They didn't punch each other to stop this whole mess. And meanwhile, as this is also going on, Providence has decided this has become too big of a threat. We're going to have to nuke these guys. So they get out a big, huge bomb, and they were going to blow up like. Rex said there was a few million lives in stake during the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rex was refusing to get out of the kill zone. He wanted to help Peter Meacham and save all the lives that he had his mind control powers on. He'll never be accepted in a society again, I don't think, but
No.
yeah, at least Rex saved him and got his daughter back.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Rex is very good human being.
Mm-hmm.
He's the greatest hero of us all. Yeah. And meanwhile, Agent 6, whenever the bomb is going off, we see at one point after he stops talking to Rex about getting him out the kill zone, he then runs towards the bomb, and then it cuts back to Rex trying to reason with Peter Meacham. And as it keeps coming back to the bomb, we just see that Six was just standing there while the bomb was about to go off. What was going on? What was he thinking? So then at the very end of the episode, we found out that he pulled out the launch key inside of the nuke. So yeah, that explains why he was just standing there the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes orders are not orders, but of course their big boss, White Knight, who I'll get to a bit more in the later podcast episodes, he was still all angry and bitter about this whole thing. Like, why didn't you listen to orders, Rex? Why didn't you just let the nuke go off? Dude, I saved millions of people. Why didn't you let the nuke go off?
I said millions of people, and they were about to destroy.
And what if you didn't convince them to stop? What if the bomb went off while you were still standing there, Rex? They don't really talk about it a whole lot. It's just, this is what would happen in the aftermath of the episode if it went on for longer.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great episode.
Like, it almost reminds me of what it did 200 episodes to it.
He's talking about the Godzilla, the series, by the way.
If the baby turtles were to still live and attack the city, it would have been like a post-apocalyptic future. What with these dragons, as they called them, were attacking New York, and then it got overflooded. In the course of the generation of dead, but I'm not gonna get too far into the episode since you haven't even gotten to that.
I've only seen 3 episodes.
Dude, it's a good cartoon.
I'll eventually watch more of it. Eventually. Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, since we're kind of done talking about this episode, Generator Rex, it's a great episode. Since we're kind of done talking about it, let's talk about Rex's powers a bit more in depth. So he has the power to turn his body parts into machines. And yeah, he turns his fist into a gigantic fist called like the Smack Hands. And he can turn his legs into a motorcycle he calls the Rex Ride. And then he can also turn his hands into a launcher where he can scoop up like concrete right out of the ground and then shoot balls of concrete at his enemies, and that's called like the slam cannon.
Yeah.
And he can also turn his hand into a sword, which is called the BFX, or the BFS, which is big fat sword. Which I'm sure they were wanting to call that something else, but since this is a kid show, they couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he's also got a jetpack just called the Boogie Pack. And yeah, which one of these like first 6 machines Rex has in the show is your favorite?
I would probably say the motorcycle.
The Rex Ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rex Ride is awesome. Yeah. It's just cool. It's just cool seeing Rex, tear stuff up with just turning his legs to a motorcycle, kind of, which is really more of a hover bike. Really, it doesn't really have any wheels. Obviously, the toy of it has wheels, but Anyway, Rex's powers are just cool.
Yeah.
And, yeah, as the show went on, he did get a few more machines, but he didn't really get a whole lot of new stuff in Season 3, which is kind of a disappointment for me. Like, I don't know, as a kid, whenever you hear the premise of the show, you would think that he would have, like, a new different machines for every single episode.
Yeah.
But, no, he just occasionally gets new ones, and, yeah. Which is kind of disappointing that we don't get to see a whole lot of experimentation as the show goes on, but all of his machines are still really cool, and it's fun to watch him tear stuff up with it. And then, of course, going back to Agent 6, like, this episode just had a fantastic action scene with him where he's using his 2 swords to cut everything up. Yeah. And his swords also work as magnets. So at one point when he's fighting against Peter Meacham, he runs around cutting people up with his swords, and at the same time, he also puts his swords together, which causes a couple of broken card parts to magnetize with his sword, and then he uses his sword to throw a bunch of card parts on top of Peter Meacham, trapping him underneath there.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for at the time when Peter Meacham was controlling Rex's hand, he wouldn't have been able to even escape from that. Yeah, it's very awesome to see that the action of this show. Again, the show is both deep and action-packed at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a very good combination. So yeah, I love Generator Rex. I can't wait to make more of these Generator Rex podcasts. So yeah, stay tuned for in 2 weeks whenever I release episode 2 of the Generator Rex podcast. Until then, I'll continue. I'll make another episode of the Ben 10 podcast, where I'll I don't know exactly what I'll talk about in the next episode of the Ben 10 podcast, but most likely it'll probably be 5 years later stuff.
Yeah.
Because the new chapter of 5 years later came out, and it's awesome. Jeremy needs to read 5 years later. It's amazing.
I will eventually. Yeah,
it's great. It's a lot of the new chapter is the best chapter so far, man. I can't wait. Anyway, guys. So yeah, this has been the Generator Rex podcast. See you all, and make way to start the revolution. Bye, guys.
Bye.